Derp.
Derpity derp derp.
Derp. Derp.
Derp derpity derp.
Derp. Derp. Derp.
Derp derpity derp derp.
Derp. Derp.
Derp derpity derp.
Derp. Derp.
Derp derp.
Derp. Derp.
Derp derp.
Derp.
Derp derp.
Derp.
Derp derp derp.
So let's get the elephant out of the room. Yes, I have called CDPR a pro-consumer golden child, and I'm starting to think I need to stop doing that because I did the same thing for DE, and those statements kind of aged like fine milk. Like with DE, being a pro-consumer company is not a label that can be used as a shield. That label is an expectation. It is an expectation that when companies similar to EA and Ubisoft would look to monetize something, a pro-consumer company would invest in its fan base and look to long-term gain. When EA and Ubisoft would withhold reviews to prevent people finding out a game was buggy, a pro-consumer company would delay the game again until it was ready and worthy of the purchase price. CD Projekt Red, however, decided to do a speed run of how fast they could lose all the goodwill they had. Looks like it took them only a week to get to EA levels of garbage and distrust. I'm impressed, and I now also dread the color luminous yellow.
A quick editor's note here, I do want to personally apologize to everyone watching for talking this game up in the past and using it as my prime example of games that were delayed that ended up being award-winning masterpieces. I was proven wrong in my assumption, and I won't use this game as an example of game delays in the future, so if you end up seeing some of those old videos and see me mention this, do note that I was dead wrong using Cyberpunk as an example, but the points made primarily against companies like Digital Extremes in those videos still stand. Back to you, Taylor.
I'm amazed that a company whose entire brand is being consumer friendly decided to hide how bad the base PS4 and Xbox Cyberpunk games looked. Not only did they hide how atrocious it was, they prevented reviewers from showing their own PC footage until the day before and didn't give out console codes. That means they knew how bad it was. Instead of canceling or delaying the last generation, they let people spend $60 to find out for themselves. Great. Now, before I get these really stupid comments, let me address them now. For those that are going to say the PS4 and Xbox One are old and people should upgrade, are you living under a rock? What wonderland are you living in where PS5s and RTX 3080s are being handed out like candy and not bought up by scalpers and cryptocurrency miners? I would love to move there. Also, the game was announced during the PS4 and Xbox One generation and marketed to play on those consoles. The CEO even said he was amazed at how well they ran on base consoles. By amazed, we now know he meant disgusted and not worth buying. Hell, even Sony agrees and is allowing refunds and removed the game from the PSN store. In true AAA gaming fashion, just when CDPR's public relations team thought they could take a break, their digital storefront GOG pulled the game Devotion from its store because it's the same game I mentioned in my Chinese investment Let's Rant. To make it even quote better, they did it 2 days before release and pulled the rug out from underneath the developer. By the way, the studio Red Candle Games has a game on Steam called Detention. Apparently it's a well-reviewed horror game by them and could use some love. Anyways, so CDPR is now bowing to President Winnie the Pooh. Of course, GOG will tell you that after messages from many gamers, they decide to pull it. Sure, CDPR. I'm sure the Chinese Communist Party are also very avid gamers. Their personal favorites are Crimes Against Humanity and labor camps. You know, this feels familiar. A favorite company I respected releases a half-baked rushed video game. During the process of trying to fix it, just continue to show their utter incompetence at handling the situation. We find out they forced unhealthy crunch to release what little they had to show, and now the fan base is sitting here wondering what is going to happen next. Now this company is going to have to spend years trying to regain the goodwill they squandered in less than a month. If CDPR announces a live service, I'm just taking my BioWare Let's Rant and just replacing BioWare with CDPR. What does it take for massive companies to realize their goodwill isn't something they should cash in on? What does it take for them to understand that once consumer trust is broken, it never really comes back? Bungie is still having to walk on eggshells from Destiny 2. Bethesda is now forever known as that company that released Fallout 76. Who here remembers Marvel Avengers as a game that was released a few months ago? That's what happens when you break consumer trust. Also, to the CDPR fanboys that are about to defend any of this, I just want to say,
Didn't understand? Too many syllables? Fuck off!